you reference Cam as a high value man with a low value, I guess, just a low vibration.
Low functioning.
Yeah,
Low functioning.
Very low functioning.
So what is your definition of high value? Because to me, it just sounds like high value to you is like superficial stuff.
High value just means that it's pretty much like you're making a lot of money. You have a lot of tangible things. Your high value.
Your value is
high.
high.
Value is high, and your monetary value. Your value is high. Meaning, you got a man who's making $100 million, then he's high valued in women who are superficial. But I'm not knocking y'all, sis. Okay, are very attracted to that. But again, are they choosing the man or are they choosing the value?
The value.
But some people are so poor, all they got is money.
And so
You know what I mean?
And that goes to where this is going to be a very, very unpopular opinion, or very popular, but it's going to cause a lot of controversy. I always say, if you realize the most prettiest, beautiful women, many of them, men have put a baby in them, but they made a wife out of them. And I go to the high value men, have put babies in them, but ain't made a wife out of them. Because those women are choosing the value in them, and those men are choosing the low functionality in her. So that's a match made in heaven for them. Even though the fairy tale ends at some point, and everybody goes back to the drawing board and comes into my session and says, because I can't, now these I can't name. I have some very, very A-list celebrity women who come in and say, I'm beautiful, I'm successful, I can have any man I want, I'm lonely as hell, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna die alone.
Yeah.
But you have a child. You've been married to this A-list big NBA player, and the relationship is now over, and you feel like you're gonna be alone because you never learned to choose anything of substance. So you were hollow the whole time. So you're not afraid of being alone physically. You're afraid of being alone emotionally because you've been alone this whole time. So you don't even have a relationship with yourself. Anyway. So who you really don't want to be with is you.
So why should we call
being alone is about being with you.
So why should we call those brothers high value then?
Because value, based on how I define it, is just money. Like I'm a high valued woman, right? I have a multi-million-dollar home. I come from the hood. I went from the hood to the hills, but I've accumulated a lot of value, right? I drive luxury cars. I have a certain lifestyle.
You're doubling down on what she's talking about. Okay, high value and all that. She said a mouthful.
What are your first thoughts?
I'm following her. Like what she's saying is kind of tracking. High value man is a man of resources. To be an all around high value man, I personally feel like the character has to match.
I agree.
The resources,
Yeah,
because you were saying high value but low functioning, and she just using a lot of words.
Well,
I don't feel like you could be a high value man if you're low functioning. You get the nigga with bread.
Well, you let her call it. It's based on that.
Yeah,
they have resources,
right?
And I believe when Kevin Samuels like repopularized the word or the term, it was a little more to it, than that.
A lot more to it, yeah.
But I think, speaking from a female perspective, and speaking from where she comes from, I think bread is very important to her.
Yeah.
Based on other things that she said in that interview, I think that money is one of the main factors that determine if a man to her is high value. I do believe your character, your ethics, your morals, I think they matter.
Yeah.
I guess in the sense of things like, let's say a Diddy would be high value.
Yeah.
He got
exactly.
He got a lot more money than. He's one of the richest black men that are in the United States.
But if he's getting you drunk and drugged up to go sleep with other men and sleep with prostitutes, is he high value?
Well, from her perspective, yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's where
he might be low vibration or low functioning.
Yeah,
but high value, because that's what she said. She said a guy like Cam Newton, he was high value, but he was low functioning.
Low functioning in the
sense of relationships, or like because
See, yeah,
when you
that's
say
what
low
doesn't make sense.
functioning, a guy or a woman who's running a multi-million-dollar situation, how could you possibly use the words low functioning for them? Right? They're actually functioning at an extremely high level. You know what I mean? Now,
Well, if you're treating the people around you poorly, are you low fun? That's a function of low functioning, right?
You could say that, but we live in a society where your value is you're deemed high value, low value based on your your money.
Well,
We
that's
live in a
people who don't know you.
when you
But
live
that's
in
for
a
people who
no.
don't know you.
All right, well, you
Like
live in
some
a
people know you, and even though you got all the bread, don't even want to be around you.
all
Your
right.
attitude sucks, or you just, you mad stink to be around, or you
Yeah,
abusive,
some
or you like
people,
that.
some
Know what I
people,
mean?
but we live in a capitalistic society, right?
Yeah.
And I know people that will hang around people because they have money,
That's strange.
or they might have a position in society where they are deemed to be high value, and being next to that person would be beneficial, or they feel like it would be beneficial.
well,
So
which is life a little bit, right?
yeah,
I mean,
yes.
we could kind of turn a microscope on that to say that people are, I don't know, opportunists or things of that nature, but I think that's the way it all works. I feel like who we're with now and the wives that we have, be it they be wives, they are with us for a particular reason or two or three,
Mm.
right? And I think them as our being our wives, we're with them for a reason or two or three. May it be how they help raise your kids, or what kind of safety net they bring to you as you go out on adventures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as a man, you're kind of always in a hunting and gathering kind of space, and you're like, exploring the wild and things of that nature, right? And when you come home, it's like a sense of safety, a sense of belonging, right? But so I think it's, we're all in this for something. I don't think anybody's in this for anything. Now, I think what's in question, what seems to be, is when none of your kind of safety measures are covered. It's just your habits are sponsored. If that makes any sense.
I think is very important to understand. Most people that watch this interview, or even watch us, right? That the definition, it's subjective to you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you gotta understand, for her, this is I think she's 30 something, maybe 40 something year old woman who is single, no children or anything like that. And her goals,
The doctor. Yeah.
yes, right? Her goal in life is, like, her passion right now is her career. She's focused on that, right? So her goal is to go out and get it financially, to be as financially successful as she can be. So at this point in her life, the highest value is based on monetary value. You understand what I'm saying? So what might be high value to you or to that woman or that woman might be totally different, because the needs are different. Like, we all don't need the same thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Everybody's needs are different.
Like, her as a woman that she might not ever want to get married. She may not ever want to have kids. She might want to focus on her career. And for her, she might want a spouse that is like-minded like her, that wants to go out and get it monetarily. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's very important for people that see these interviews and not put everything into one box.
Can I throw a curveball here?
Sure.
Okay, so let's just say in my little circle of sorts, like there are a lot of women that I know that are high value according to that
Mm-hmm.
monetarily. They have a really difficult time finding companionship or meaningful
Mm-hmm.
companionship, right? To where they may look at the guys who are less monetarily endowed than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But strangely, that doesn't really work out either.
What do you mean?
Meaning, okay, if they have a value in something being high, right? They can't find that. Then they go to the monetary value of being a little lower. That doesn't necessarily work. It's kind of like, when they said like even Halle Berry got cheated on,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
right? And I kind of feel like is it this might sound crazy. I don't know. I don't want to say this. Might be a little off. But is it kind of safe to kind of say like if you don't get yours early, like the early bird kind of gets the worm kind of
Oh,
thing?
1,000%.
Because it seems like people who make it out to the stretch,
Yeah.
right? Who make it to the deep water with
Mhm.
all their finances and all their,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
they don't necessarily get.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily walk back with nothing.
Even if
I-
it don't work out, they're at least working that muscle. They're at least working on themselves and learning how to be with somebody rather than even if a person is on the come up and they're in like little relationships, like maybe last a year or two.
Yeah.
At least they know how to like sort of commit and they're learning people and they're learning what they like and what they don't like, rather than the person who doesn't do anything and they're just by themselves and they just dating, like don't even know how to like be with
Yeah,
somebody
because the
else.
more you acquire, man nor woman, right? The
Mhm.
longer you acquire and focus on what it takes to be the best you, because the reason why I say that is I feel like the best me has come from compromising with somebody else,
Yeah.
helping myself as well as me helping herself, keep ourselves in the confines of what it takes to kind of be like an all-around kind of person, you know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? Then like, because as you acquire and you grow and you acquire and you grow, like you become more like one-sided a little bit.